How's it going, YouTubers? I'm just reviewing another book here, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's a pretty famous one. It's by Stephen R. Covey. Not really sure which one it is, but yeah. So basically, this book is fantastic. There's a lot of books that I feel like I'm just running into, and everybody should read. And there's all this knowledge in here, but basically, it teaches you how to obviously be a more effective person. But there's 7 basic steps. There's broken into 2 parts. It's saying you need a private victory, which is within yourself. So a victory within yourself, that nobody really knows about. You kind of have to work on yourself first, and then a public victory where working on yourself comes out and you achieve things. So it's broken into 2 parts, and there's 3 parts for each, and then the seventh habit is just like keeping everything in check, basically. What it says, so the first habit is be proactive. So what does this mean? It means most people are reactive. We can't have a world of leaders because it wouldn't work that way. There'd be no one to lead if it was all leaders. But if you want to be a leader, if you want to be an effective person, you have to be proactive. You can't be like, entertain me or complain about stuff, right? It kind of overlaps that book I just reviewed about optimism. Being proactive means to not look at everything that's gone wrong, but look at the situation that you're in and say, okay, what do I have? What can I do about this today? What kind of actions can I take to get there? And it's basically, not giving up and constantly improving, constantly working to where you want to be. And that's the difference between being proactive, all right? It's not expecting life to get handed to you. It's not being lived, right? It's living. And that's in another book that I'll review soon enough. But so the second habit is begin with the end in mind. So what this means, you need to have a goal. If you go out driving, you just say you're going out. Where do you think you're going to end up? Anywhere, right? You don't know where you're going to end up. If you want to go to the grocery store, well, you should probably figure out, okay, I'm going to go to, look up directions, right? You need to know where you're going to go. Otherwise, you're never going to get there. You're just going to be wandering around aimlessly and maybe stumble across something that was useful. But you'll save a lot more time if you begin with the end in mind. Most people probably won't even make it to their destination if they don't begin with the end in mind. And let's take it even further. It also talks about how you want people to remember you at your funeral, right? So if you can picture your family standing around, and this is kind of dark thing to picture, but just bear with me for a second. All right, if you picture family standing around, your friends, your coworkers, whatever, everybody you interact with on a daily basis, everybody you've inspired, how many people do you think would be there, first of all, and how would you think they would remember you? So you want to live as the person that you want to be remembered as. Do you want to be remembered as a lazy person who just watches TV all day? Do you want to be remembered as somebody who's really smart, who's a leader, who makes changes in people's lives? Well, how do you want to be viewed when you're dead? How do you want people to remember you? You gotta think about that. If you're just sitting in front of your TV, no one's gonna have much to say about you. I know you watch a lot of TV. Is that how you want to be remembered? Most of us don't. So get out there and do something. Be adventurous. Face your fears. All right. Put first things first. What this means is, wow, I'm a little bit rusty on this, but you can't be doing too much at once. You have to get the important things done first. That's at least what I recall from this. Basically, if you don't do the most important things, you'll probably never get done. So you have to put first things first. Do the important things in your life. Don't sit around waiting for them to get done. All right. And then when you move on to public victories, so this is the part where you start achieving, you start putting it into action. Think win-win. So most people think win-lose. I win, you lose, right? We're trained that way, kind of. But that's not how you should think. You should think win-win, all right? For example, I guess the first example I get off the top of my head is, I give vocal lessons. Well, what do they get out of that, right? They get the voice they've always wanted, and I get money to pay my bills and pay off my debt, right? It's a win-win, all right? Or just when negotiating, right? A lot of people think that it's going to be win-lose. We have to win, they have to lose type thing. But there's an option. If you can't get win-win, don't take the deal. Don't make a deal. Just leave it be. So it's either win-win or no deal. That's the most effective way to do things. That's how you're going to win friends. That's how you're going to achieve things. You don't want to just be taking everything from everybody, because that will catch up with you later in life. In fact, most rich people are not greedy. And I'll talk about that in another video in another book review. They're not. They're very nice, most of them. They're very generous. Just look at how Bill Gates spends his money. All right, he's using his power to, try to fund researching for like different diseases, like cures and stuff. He's putting it through charities, and most of them are very generous. You can't think of them as greedy. All right, so don't think win-lose. Think win-win. Even I know in sports it's like win-lose. They teach you that in school. It's usually like you're trying to compete and be better than the other person. But in real life, you need to think win-win. All right, and then the fifth one: seek to understand, then be understood. So what does this mean? Don't jump to conclusions with people. All right, listen to what they have to say first. Listen to what they're feeling. Listen to what is going through their mind. Get an understanding of them, because then what's going to happen is they'll feel important, they'll feel appreciated, and you'll be able to help them with their problem more effectively. Because if you don't understand them fully, how are you supposed to help them with with the issue at hand, or how are you supposed to progress, right? Basically, you have to be an active listener, right? You have to understand people, and then you seek to be understood, right? So you just have to take it to a deeper level. You have to be you have to have a better, you have to have really good listening skills and understand them on a deep level, rather than jumping to conclusions. A lot of people do that. I know I've been guilty of it a few times. It's not a big deal if you do it, but change it. We can't look at what we've done. Just do something different in the future. All right, 6 is synergize. We've all heard of synergy, and that's just talking about how when we get a bunch of people together that are really working hard and working towards a bigger goal, we get way more input way more output. Than input, versus if everybody worked alone. So if if I can produce 1 unit a day, and somebody else can produce 1 unit a day, then that's 1 + 1 = 2. But what this is saying is, like, if we work together, what tends to happen, and this is if it's a good environment to work in, right? We don't want all that drama and all that stress and crap. If we have a good environment to work in, what's going to happen is, if we work together, we'll push each other to do better, we'll learn from each other, and it'll end up being 1 + 1 = 3. All right, because we'll basically be way more efficient, and it'll go towards a higher purpose. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's in the book. I understood it, so I hope that made sense. And then the last one's just sharpen the saw. So take all those habits and check up on them every once in a while. Make sure you're doing these things, all right? Sometimes you'll get out of whack. Sometimes you won't follow these, and that's what makes us human. We make mistakes, right? We need to be checked up on every once in a while. We need to have a mental check. So sharpen the saw. So put all these habits together. Be proactive. Begin with the end in mind. Put first things first. Think win-win. Seek first to understand, then be understood. 6 is synergize, and then sharpen the saw. So make sure you stay sharp on all of them. That's my book review for today. This is a fantastic book. You have to check it out. If you have the opportunity to pick it up, you can order online for like probably under $10. I don't pay much more than $10 for books most of the time. But yeah, excellent book. If you guys have any questions or comments, leave them below. I'm always happy to answer those and discuss things with you. I'm always interested to hear what other people have to say. So yeah, and stay active in the comment sections, and we'll share all our crazy thoughts and whatever, however you want to say it. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you on the next book review.